Good morning. Today we are going to learn about simplified process sequence for fabrication. After completion of today's session, you are able to identify the basic steps of fabrication and explain the simplified process sequence for CMOS fabrication. CMOS fabrication technology requires both NMOS and PMOS transistor to be built on the same chip substrate. To accommodate both NMOS and PMOS devices, special regions must be created, in which the semiconductor type is opposite to the substrate type. Means we have to fabricate NMOS and PMOS on a single substrate. For example, if we take a p-type substrate, then only NMOS can be formed. So how the PMOS fabricated on the side of the NMOS? For that we need a n-type substrate. So a n region is formed in the p-type substrate, which is act as n substrate for PMOS. These regions are called wells or tubs. So a n well is formed in a p substrate and a p well is formed in a n substrate. Means if we choose a p substrate, then for the formation of PMOS we need a n well in that substrate. If we take an n substrate, then we have to form a p well for the formation of NMOS. Next, the simplified process sequence for the fabrication of CMOS. The process starts with the creation of the N-well regions for PMOS and P-well regions for NMOS by ion implantation into the substrate. Ion implantation is the process of adding impurities to a silicon wafer or substrate. This is performed with an electric field which accelerates the ionized atoms so that these particles penetrate into the target material, means the substrate. Then a thick oxide is grown in the region surrounding the NMOS and PMOS, means on the entire surface of the substrate. That thick oxide is known as field oxide. The thin oxide is subsequently grown on the surface through thermal oxidation. The thin oxide is known as thin gate oxide. So, the thermal oxidation is the process by which a layer of silicon dioxide, that is SiO2, is grown on the surface of a silicon wafer. Thermal oxidation is usually performed at temperature from 900 degrees Celsius to 1100 degrees Celsius. Next is the deposition and pattern of polysilicon layer. So polysilicon layer is deposited on the surface of the oxide layers and selectively removed to form the gate. So the polysilicon only used for the formation of gate terminal. These steps are followed by the creation of N plus and P plus regions, means source, drain and body terminals of both the MOSFETs. Last step is the create contact windows, deposit and pattern metal layer. So at last metallization is done, means creation of metal interconnects. Metallization is the process by which the components of ICs are interconnected by aluminum conductor. This process produces a thin film metal layer that will serve as the required conductor pattern for the interconnection. Here the source, gate, drain and body terminals are formed. Before metallization, we have to clear the contact window for source and drain terminal. Then we do the metallization for the formation of terminals. Next, here we can see in the first step of the process, a channel stop region is mentioned. So what is that channel stop region? Channel stop region, here we can see in this diagram, the color of channel stop is light gray. So this region is the light gray region. So light gray region is known as channel stop implant, that is present between two MOSFET. One is NMOS, other one is PMOS. Why it is present in between these two devices? The purpose of this additional region is to prevent the formation of any unwanted channels between two neighboring regions. That is, to ensure that the surface between two such regions cannot be inverted. Hence, channel stop implants act to electrically isolate neighboring devices built on the same substrate. As we know, this one is the p-type substrate. On the p substrate, a NMOS is formed and another PMOS is formed. So in between PMOS and NMOS, this channel stop implant provide isolation to these devices. Now here we can see this orange layer is the N well, in which we form the PMOS transistor, and this dark color is the polysilicon. As we discussed previously, that polysilicon only used for the formation of gate terminal. So in this diagram we can see the polysilicon is present in two regions, means one region is form the gate terminal for NMOS, another region is form the gate terminal for PMOS. So this is all about the process sequence, and the main or basic steps or fabrications are thermal oxidation, then ion implantation, metallization, patterning. These are. In next class we discuss briefly about the steps of fabrication. So thank you.